Louisville, Kentucky, where tonight we celebrate the 30th anniversary of one of basketball's most anticipated annual events, the McDonald's Boys High School All-American Game. For 30 years, the McDonald's All-American Game has given us that first glimpse of the stars of tomorrow, that first glimpse of future legends, both pro and college. More than a game, it has helped forge friendships that endure at every level, as well as an appreciation for those station. Over the years, the media attention and spectacle that surrounds this storied event has continued to grow, and deservedly so. But it's not just the future stars and household names that everyone wants to see in this game, as much as the plays they will get to see them make. It's the stars of tomorrow on display tonight as we celebrate 30 years of the McDonald's All-American Game coming up next. For the first time in the 30-year history of this great game, the McDonald's All-American Game is being played here in the Bluegrass State. Our venue is fabulous Freedom Hall here in the Derby City of Louisville, Kentucky. It's the West taking on the East. So glad you could join us. It sure should be fun over the next couple of hours. Alongside my partners, Len Elmore and Tim McCormick, I'm Eric Collins. And folks, make no bones about it. This is still the preeminent high school all-star game by which every other all-star game is compared. And well, Tim, you have a unique view of that. You actually played in this game back in 1980.
A long time, a quarter century ago, way before Happy Meals. And believe me, I'm feeling a little bit old here. Look, if you like high-scoring basketball, these are the best athletes. 25% of players now go on from the McDonald's All-American Game into the NBA. If it's fast and in transition that you like and definitely above the rim, this game is for you. And Len, I was in the game in 1980. Your class of 1970, way before this game was even started. What is your perspective on the stepping stone, the building blocks these young players are going through?
Well, Tim, as a high school All-American, all I could dream about in 1970 was to maybe travel a path that the guys before me came, the great players. And here you have an opportunity. These young men, throughout the festivities, getting historical perspective. They see their names in the same annals of the greats, like LeBron, like Magic Johnson, Isaiah Thomas, and all of those. To be able to walk those footsteps has to be a dream come true.
No, we can't wait. Let's take a look at the Star Watch and give you an idea who are some of the stars of stars that we really should be keeping an eye on. How about number 42 for the West, Kevin Love? All he has been is the 2007 McDonald's National Player of the Year. He's a big body, averaging close to 30 points per game and 16 caroms. And O.J. Mayer, we've been hearing about this guy for the last 6 years, a 5-time All-State performer. He was West Virginia's Mr. Basketball. Len, you start first. Tell us about Kevin Love.
Well, Kevin Love is a guy that obviously everybody who understands the inside game will appreciate. Very mature skills, comes with a complete game for a high school big man. Size, footwork, strength, and touch. You know, obviously from Lake Oswego, Oregon, on his way to UCLA. Family ties are good. His dad, Stan Love, was a first-round pick in 1971 in the NBA.
And O.J. Mayo, an electrifying open-court phenom, the most heralded star in the class of '07. In the scrimmage yesterday, he had 31 points, a very strong favorite to grab the McDonald's MVP award.
Now let's send it over to the fourth member of our broadcast team, Quint Kesnick, who's standing by with Love on his side and also a side of Mayo.
Thank you, Eric. Kevin, the Morgan Wooten Award, what does that mean in terms of national significance?
Well, it means so much. There's so many names that came before me, like Magic Johnson, Kevin Garnett, LeBron James, all the way up to Greg Oden last year. So, you know, it feels great to have some good company like that. And there's so many great players in this class that it could have gone any way. I'm standing here next to O.J. Mayo that, you know, could have won it also. So it feels great.
OJ, you came out here, you see the McDonald's logo. What's your mindset right now?
Well, you know, I just hope a lot of people come out and support this game because it's going towards a charity here in the city of Louisville. So I think that's a great thing. I just hope we get a sellout crowd.
Two of the best ready to go toe-to-toe.
Quint, thank you so much. Well, here in the Derby City of Louisville, we are chomping at the bit to get started, and we will. The stars of tomorrow shine when we come back. Welcome back, everyone, to the 30th running of this McDonald's Boys All-American Game. Historically, the East leading the West. 16 wins for the East to 13 for the West. Let's get you started with our starting lineups. It's Eric Gordon, Derrick Rose, Michael Beasley, Kyle Singler, and Kevin Love, the starters for the West. We'll see substitutions early and often. For the East, it's Austin Freeman, Nolan Smith, O.J. Mayo, Dante Kufos, 7-1 center. He's signed, sealed, and delivered to play at Ohio State next. The West wearing the red uniforms. The East, they're wearing the home whites.
We enjoyed the work of Greg Oden and Durant, Thaddeus Young, Brandon Wright, a very tall, athletic group. This class is highlighted by spectacular guards, just loaded on the wings. And keep an eye on O.J. Mayo. He's going to get up about 25 shots and a lot of points.
First shot of the game missed by O.J. Mayo, and now the East will set things up.
And Tim, to your point about the guards, you got a lot of lead guards out here capable of scoring as well as making plays, kind of playing on the wings, as you mentioned, as well as true point guards inside.
There's the man we were talking about before, Kosta Kufos, 7-1 center from Canton, Ohio.
Actually hoping that Greg Oden comes back for his sophomore year. Said he would love to be mentored, and he thinks they would have a little high-low action, a little inside-out.
Hey, how about a 19-year-old mentoring an 18-year-old?
It's a new era.
Michael Beasley stepping out, the 6'10 forward, knocking in the three. Quickly the other way, no go, rebound Beasley.
Beasley, tremendously talented from the Washington, D.C. area. You saw his ability to rebound as well as put it on the floor and lead the break.
Kyle Singler has his three-ball attempt blocked by O.J. Mayo.
Yeah, Michael Beasley is a very intriguing player. Sometimes looks like an NBA player, other times a bit disinterested. I think Bobby Huggins is the perfect coach for him.
Well, you can bet he won't be disinterested too long. I think Coach Huggins demands your attention.
And last bucket by the National Player of the Year, Kevin Love inside. Love off to UCLA to play for Ben Howland's bunch next year. Johnny Flynn gets it over to his future teammate, Dante Green, and they combine for what Jim Boeheim hopes will be the first of many hookups.
I really like Dante Green. He's one of those understated players that as the game goes on, all of a sudden you notice he's got 8-10 points, 3 or 4 very balanced attack.
Two kids out of Oregon combining there. Kevin Love finds Kyle Singler. Love from Portland, Singler from Medford. Kufos can hit that shot.
And that is the new trend right now. You see Andrea Bargnani on the Toronto Raptors, 7-footer that can step out. I think Dirk Nowitzki started something.
Well, the interesting thing is that if you look at both of these rosters, there is not one true back-to-the-basket player on either team. These are all face-up jump shooters.
Yeah, the closest guy might be Love, who with the size, you know, should make it a habit of getting down low and putting his back to the basket.
And another good dish, this time to Patterson.
But you see why guys don't necessarily have to play with their backs to the basket, because of the great penetration skills of these guards. You got to be facing the ball with your hands ready.
Derrick Rose misses his first shot. Almost gets the steal.
So what do you think the over-under is on dunks in this game? I'm going to say 12, Len. Do you take over or under?
I don't know how to play that game, Tim. I was just going to sit back and enjoy them. But I would say that's a safe bet.
Long distance shot off the mark. Eric Gordon misses. And here comes the East. Nothing doing but Kufos there to clean up the mess.
You mentioned Dirk Nowitzki. Kosta Kufos' coach Thad Mudd, Ohio State, said that he wants him to become a Dirk Nowitzki type of player.
Well, he's certainly going to have to work on his ball handling skills, create his own. If he's going to be anywhere close to that. But on the college level, if you have the ability to step outside, then you're going to be okay. And I talked about Kevin Love inside. Look at him use that ample derriere to get room and position.
Yeah, the fun thing about the inside attack of Patrick Patterson, his teammate O.J. Mayo this year. Kevin Love is such a unique player. Look at that outlet pass by Kevin Love. Wow.
Easy two for Singler.
Yeah. Stan Love was telling me that he played with Wes Unseld. Kevin's middle name is Wesley in honor of Wes Unseld. You like that outlet pass and where it came from.
Unseld played some pretty nice basketball here in Louisville, playing for the Cardinals. I think he would have been a McDonald's All-American coming out of high school back in his day. Ball knocked out of bounds. It will stay with the West. Just getting started. We've played a little bit over 4 minutes in this one. O.J. Mayo and the East up by 5. 30th running of the McDonald's All-American game, and so far so good for the East. They're up by 5. You could win a couple of games with some of the best players that have played in this game and then gone on to some of these fantastic schools. 48 graduates of this game have gone on to play at North Carolina. Duke a close second at 39. And wow.
You take a look at those schools right there and you kind of figure out, okay, who's top, definitely prominent over the last couple of decades, who's won the national championships. You got to at least mention some of those schools in there with the predominance of All-Americans.
There's only one school that has won a national championship without a McDonald's All-American. Len, do you know who that is?
Let me guess. It begins with an N and ends with a D. And it's got Maryland in the middle.
Back in 2002.
And that's a tribute to Gary Williams. Obviously, you got great players, Juan Dixon, Steve Blake, Lonnie Baxter. For that period of time, it's hard to believe that none of those guys were McDonald's All-Americans. Wow.
When you see Corey Stokes knock down that jump shot, you spent a lot of time in the Big East. A lot of comparisons to Curtis Sumter. With him leaving, how do you see Stokes fitting in?
Well, I will say this, that you need a guy about that size. Curtis Sumter's strength was when he was played by big forwards, he'd step outside and use his quickness. When he was played by smaller forwards, he'd use his size and post up. And if Stokes can give that versatility, I think he can fit right in.
Jared Bayless, his first shot up and in. Bayless is 6'4" guard from Phoenix, heading off to play at Arizona next year.
Bayless's hero growing up, another Phoenix product, Mike Bibby. They spent a lot of time working together in the summertime. 2
consecutive buckets for Corey Stokes out of Bayonne, New Jersey. St. Benedict's Prep, the 5th ranked team in the country this year.
And speaking of Stokes, once again in Villanova, he's going to love playing with Scotty Reynolds. Terrific freshman, able to deliver the ball, get some nice 2-man games. Jay Wright will be awfully proud.
Scotty Reynolds played in this game a year ago. J.J. Hickson with the rebound, and he's going to lead the break for the East. Hickson out of Marietta, Georgia. It's it over to Stokes, who has his pocket picked. Here comes Jay Lucas. He is the youngest son of longtime NBA head coach and player John Lucas, and he is fouled on his way to the bucket.
And Jay Lucas has really been one of the most pleasant surprises, a true point guard. His brother John, Oklahoma State, and his dad, the NBA legend John Lucas, NBA coach. And you had a chance to play with John Lucas. Have you had a chance to talk to him? Because I know the Jays got a big college decision coming up.
Yeah, John and I were talking before the game. There are a couple of schools in the mix, but in the end, you know, Jay Lucas, as you mentioned, a true point guard at 5'10", 150. I guess that's a position you have to get involved with. But his dad, for the period of time he played with us at Maryland for 2 years before Tom McMillan and I graduated, John was a consummate point guard. And I think the skills that he's able to impart have really shown up in both of his sons. Their ability to deliver, their ability to distribute.
Give the 2 to J.J. Hickson. An emphatic 2.
Could have been any one of 3 guys over the rim on that one. But you see Jay Lucas obviously making decisions, looking to give the ball up, understanding quintessential point guard play. You push it up, explore the defense. If not, get the ball around him. When the shot clock goes down, just make something happen.
Head of the pack, Nick Kalankis, his first 2. Kid out of Castleberry, Florida. Took Lake Powell High School to their first state champion in school history. Play for Billy Donovan at Florida next year, and he gets a steal. Kalankis leading the 5-on-1. And it's spoiled by Cole Oilrich. Now a 3-on-1 the other way, and again, the numbers don't mean success. We're going to have a whistle and a foul call.
You know, a lot of times in these all-star contests, you see players get hyped up, especially in the NBA All-Star game. You see plays that just are impossible to make, but we're seeing a lot of fundamentals here. And J.J. Hickson, a lot of people here say that he's a gamer, Sidney Lowe's first big-time recruit, and I think he's the perfect fit with that offense along with Brandon Costner.
Well, they're going to be significantly more athletic. I mean, Costner was terrific inside. Then you had the workman, Ben McCauley, some pretty good guards who could shoot the ball, but in the end, there's no substitute for the athleticism, guys that can make plays when the shot clock is running down and when you need a big one.
It's funny because J.J. wants to be a fashion designer, and when we asked him about that red sport coat that Sidney Lowe is sporting, he kind of rolled his eyes a little bit.
3-on-1. No problem there. James Harden rocks the rim. Shot partially blocked. Offensive rebound. Calathes, no.
Well, you're going to see a lot of fast breaks in games like this simply because there are a lot of quick shots. Quick shots normally lead to fast break opportunities.
All week long, we saw Bayless doing that. He and Lucas worked really well together in the backcourt. Inside, and Hickson is fouled. He'll go to the free throw line.
Well, again, there's the push, and you saw Jay Lucas. That's what a point guard does. You push it, draw the defenders, and then you find somebody. And in a game like this, you know, you want a couple of guys that are dedicated just to distributing the ball. I don't think Jay Lucas really cares whether he scores a point or not, as long as he plays his job and fulfills his role.
Jay Lucas, one of 2 players in this game who have yet to decide on where they want to go and play their college ball.
And in transition, Jay Lucas can play the speed game. His dad, former NBA coach, mentors a lot of players in the NBA, and Jay's been playing against guys like Sam Cassell and Steve Francis since he was in 8th grade, and so he is not going to be intimidated by star players.
Johnny Lawal gets the 2, and he's fouled. There you see John Lucas. He has been very vocal all week long.
Get the rebound? I used to hear that echo now and then.
You talk about Jay Lucas. He has not decided where he wants to play collegiately. For the East, Patrick Patterson out of Huntington, West Virginia. He is still yet to decide on where he wants to go.
And isn't it ironic that I think Kentucky at least was on the list, I mean, remains on the list for Jay Lucas, how he got a standing ovation when he was announced.
And Patterson, too. And I think that those 2 are getting recruited by about half of these players.
Griffin can't hit it inside, gets his own miss. Ahead of the pack, Nolan Smith. Man.
Wow.
Well, Nolan Smith's dad, Derek, the late Derek Smith, player here, great player here at the University of Louisville. And I think there are a lot of people with that memory, seeing what a warrior his dad was, and obviously he's going to get a special hand as well.
Inside, easy 2. We've seen that dunk before. Blake Griffin, he won the dunk contest back on Monday. And we're keeping track of it for you, Tim. We've got 6 dunks combined so far.
Yeah, I may have to upgrade my number a little bit. How well is Griffin going to fit in with the Big 12? His brother is already there as a small forward. You got a couple Griffins playing for Jeff Capel next year.
Jay Lucas, the point guard, can also score.
You think there was any joking going on in the Lucas household that John Lucas Jr. was never a McDonald's All-American? Obviously, his dad never had a chance because the game wasn't started then. Jay told them, I'm the best in the family because I'm the only McDonald's All-American.
That's revisionist history right there.
Donnie Lawal gets it over to Calathes. And his jumper is true. It normally is. He's got a great stroke.
Yeah, I think that Calathes is the best shooter here in the 3-point contest. He shot the ball exceptionally well. At 6'6", could play the 1, 2, and 3, and is highly coveted. I know he's going to have a chance to do some great work at Florida.
Well, Calathes has a brother, Pat Calathes, plays for St. Joe's, who, you know, grew pretty quickly at the late stages of his high school career and still handles the ball at like 6'8", 6'9", still handles the ball like a guard. Looks like those guys had a pretty good time in the playground.
When Nick was in 7th grade, he became a manager on the 9th and 10th grade teams. Also the varsity, you see the beautiful delivery from the corner jump shot. And then Calathes was the manager. He practiced with each of the 3 high school teams and says that was the key to his development.
Calls himself a gym rat. Favorite place in the world to be is inside of a gym. All hours of the day, and it's paid off.
How do you like these guards here? Rose and Gordon. That would win a lot of games for you.
Beasley thought about it. Lefty jumper, a little bit shy. Johnny Flynn back in the game. Oh my, once again, the 2 kids off to Syracuse combining. It's Flynn to Green. Eric Gordon jumper.
I was going to say Jim Boeheim looking to try to hit the replay button on the TiVo to make sure he liked what he saw.
And a steal off the inbound. Beasley off the alley-oop find from Rose.
As you watch the fine work of Dante Greenland, you have to think that with Demetrius Nichols leaving the Cuse next year, there's some minutes available for a high-scoring small forward.
Oh, absolutely. There's some minutes available for anybody on the front line.
Banks are open late here Wednesday night.
Losing their total front line at Syracuse, but they've got some guys. Paul Harris really developed towards the end of the season and could be a star, probably a little late bloomer. A lot of people thought Paul Harris would be, you know, one of those monsters that come into college basketball, and it took him a while.
Paul Harris actually best friends with the guy with the ball right here, Johnny Flynn. They grew up together in Niagara Falls, New York, actually played 2 years of high school ball together. They're going to play together up in Western New York. Taylor King can't run it down. It's out of bounds. Timeout on the floor. 9:14 remaining first half. This game has been played above the rim. Nolan Smith with an exclamation point there. This has been what we expected and then some. Welcome back, everyone. The East on top of the West by 2. 36-34. 9:14 remaining first half. Quinn Kesnick is standing by with a happy papa. John Lucas. Quinn, take it away.
That is right, Eric. John, when you look at this game, what makes you most proud of having a son playing in the McDonald's All-American game?
Well, you know, first of all, it could have, after about the first 10, there are a lot of kids who could have made the game. So for those who didn't make it, keep working hard. For those who did make it, it's been a great opportunity, and it's been really, really good. But it's exciting just to be here.
Jay is one of 2 undecided players in this game. What are the advantages in being undecided right now?
Well, you know, Coach Smith left, and Kentucky was one of the schools. He's looking at Oklahoma State, and Maryland. So, you know, he wanted to see who's going to be in school, who may not, who may leave, or whatever may happen. So it makes a big, big difference.
Len Elmore called you the consummate guard, Eric.
He's the consummate pro himself.
Coming the other way, and the first bucket of the game for Eric Gordon, kid out of Indianapolis.
Fun to watch his career develop. Kelvin Sampson said that you're more of a shooting guard right now, but he wants to transform him, let him play a little bit more of the point, which will probably be his NBA position.
Free ball, no problem. Austin Freeman. And quickly the other way, a 2-pointer for Derrick Rose, Chicago kid out of Simeon High School.
Probably the #1 rated point guard. And Len, how do you think he'll fit in with John Calipari at Memphis next year?
Well, that team remains athletic. And as long as you've got the athleticism, you've got a little bit of deference to pay to some of the guys out there who can run the floor, who rebound. You got out there and lead the break, I think you'll fit in fine. I mean, John has done a terrific job with the guys that he had, and you know, it's unfortunately ran into a roller coaster coming downhill in Ohio State, because Memphis State, one of those teams a lot of people complained about, didn't have a tough schedule, but I think they proved they belong.
Freeman misses this one. And Gordon hangs in the air, and he is fouled. He'll go to the free throw line and shoot a couple of free throws, but that will happen when we come back. Chance to catch our breath. 7:42 remaining first half. Welcome back, everyone. It is a 40-39 lead for the West All-Stars, and this is the 30th edition of the McDonald's All-American game. We're going to have a couple of free throw attempts for Eric Gordon, who may be famous in Indiana, but he is infamous in the state of Illinois. Gave a verbal commitment to play for Bruce Weber in the Fighting Illini, and then when Kelvin Sampson left Oklahoma to go to Indiana, he decided to stay at home and play for his hometown school, and made his written commitment to play for the Indiana Hoosiers. And for that reason, I think it's going to be a difficult trip around the Big Ten for Eric Gordon, particularly when he goes to Champaign.
I agree, Eric, and Gordon is a scoring machine, a Gilbert Arenas type of point guard. And when he was growing up, his dad was his coach, and at the age of 7, his dad would have him bring the ball to the court and pass the ball, but his rule was that you can't shoot the ball. Before you can be a real good player, you have to master the dribbling and the passing first. Once he got that down, Dad said, go ahead and shoot.
He's going to take a breather. He's replaced by Kyle Singler. This is the 30th McDonald's All-American game. Tim McCormick, Len Elmore, and Quinn Kesnick. I'm Eric Collins. We've got about 7.5 minutes remaining here in the first half. And here comes the West. Derrick Rose hangs in the air and gets it to Kevin Love.
Well, if you're a big guy and you run the floor, we talked about it before, with these guards and their ability to penetrate, you just got to get to the open spot. And I think that many times guys come to these games and kind of play outside of themselves, trying to match the skills of other guys, and many times those skills are different. You come out here, just play your game. And I think guys are starting to settle into it now.
Tough shot. King can't get it. Beasley is fouled on the follow-up. Well, time now for a Sports Center 30 and 30 update. Let's go back to the studio with Scott Reese.
Michael Beasley at the line, 2 shots.
Scott, thank you so much. And I don't know if you guys got a chance to see that, but 9 new players have come onto the floor, and it will be 10 after Beasley shoots these free throws. They're just coming out in waves.
It's like a hockey game out here, and Beasley at the line plays a little bit like Josh Smith, 6'9", can score inside and out, both Oak Hill Academy players. And if you think, what is he going to be like? His favorite player is Carmelo Anthony. So when you're watching guys like that, the upside is just tremendous.
And with the made free throw, he will leave. So a 6'10" player replaced by the 5'10" Jay Lucas.
And you talk about Oak Hill Academy, this is the 7th year in a row that this team, this McDonald's High School All-American game, has had a representative from Oak Hill Academy. Nolan Smith this year, Ty Lawson last year, Eric Devendorf. I mean, these are names obviously that are current in college basketball.
What about Brandon Jennings next year?
Next year, Tim.
Just put the carrot out there for him.
These are just some of the players that have played at Oak Hill and now in this McDonald's All-Star game. Rajon Rondo here in this state of Kentucky playing for the Wildcats and now the Boston Celtics.
I'm really impressed with the maturation and the growth of these players. The game is above the rim, but I've seen a real improvement over the last few years of young players being able to put the ball on the floor and create. That was a flaw earlier at the turn of the century, but now guys have really seemed to work more on their ball handling skills.
Well, I think the emphasis in basketball has been on the scorers, but now the guys who are distributing, the guys who are making the pass are getting some love. Back in the day, I remember that when a guy gave you a good pass, instead of you taking the glory, the first thing you do is point to the guy who made the pass. And sometimes it would lead the cameras to the guy who made the pass also. Hasn't caught on until now. It's taken this long.
Kyle Singler makes a couple of free throws. Singler's claim to fame, he may be the only McDonald's All-American in the history of this game that has solved Rubik's Cube.
Wow.
There you go.
Look at you breaking it down. That's bringing it deep.
Inside, Hickson, no. Follow, no problem, Nolan Smith.
Yeah, so I guess since MIT is Division III, Singler decides to go to another school. What is that, Duke?
He's going to Duke.
I'm just kidding. I knew it was Duke. Give the Dukies some love. They need it.
James Anderson misses his first shot. And the pass is thrown out of bounds.
Don't feel too bad for Duke as you see Nolan Smith, who may be their next major star. Coach Krzyzewski told him that he reminds him a lot of one of his assistant coaches, Johnny Dawkins. That's not bad.
Johnny Dawkins played in this game.
That's pretty classy. And no one feels sorry for Duke because they will continue to be a quality program because the McDonald's All-Americans keep coming. And the bright ones, the intelligent ones who have high basketball IQs, they keep coming.
Yeah, including Taylor King and Kyle Singler. They're going to be small with Josh McRoberts leaving, but there will be an abundance of long-range shooters.
There is Nolan Smith with the basketball up high. Backdoor cut, and Chris Wright is fouled. Well, we saw a lot of Chris Wright for the three-point shootout. He was the three-point shootout champion this year out of Bowie, Maryland, St. John's College High School.
Yeah, a lot of fun for these players on Sunday night. All the guys were sitting around watching the Final Four, and Chris Wright is jumping up and down big for Georgetown. A lot of trash talking, and he said, I had mixed emotions because I was so proud to be a Hoya, but I just wanted to be out there and play with those guys.
You get your chance soon enough. Another chance to watch Georgetown in the Final Four against Ohio State. You see that errant pass right there. You know, that's the one thing, just getting thrown together, having a practice, being able to sit and talk with guys. You still can't develop that chemistry, that ESP, if you will, for things like, you know, no-look alley-oops and things of that nature.
Oh, what do we have?
Got a good follow, that's for sure. Good hustle by Lawal.
Nolan Smith tried to bring it down. Gani Lawal gets the efficient 2.
Nice look.
And James Anderson is fouled. He will go to the free throw line.
The foul is on Gibson, number 2.
Now, at both ends, I love guys that are hustling, and the reward, Gani Lawal really showed some effort to get down there. It would have been easy to hang back and enjoy the work of his teammate, but he got the reward. And what was the deal there? Did I see that J.J. Hickson try to play some defense in an all-star game? Isn't that against the rules?
I tell you, it's all about habits. And you just talked about Lawal and what he did. That is not something that you can turn on and off. If you come out here, you play between these lines, you play your game. And Lawal, look at him, rebound, one of the first guys down the floor.
Calathis, no. Aldrich, a good, strong rebound.
If you watch Lawal, you really start thinking about a young Dwight Howard in terms of the character, the defense, and the rebounding being the emphasis.
Pass thrown away. Trying to sneak it to Chris Wright.
And Atlanta.
Yeah, I mean, he's one of those guys, a little thicker than, say, a Chris Bosh when he got to Georgia Tech. But he's got post-up skills. He runs the floor very well, very athletic. He's going to fit in with Young and Crittenden just nicely.
Cole Aldrich with the ball, feeds it inside.
Yeah, that almost could have been the first charge ever in an all-star
I was going to
game.
say, now that is against the rules in a game like this, taking a charge. Sometimes you get offensive fouls called inadvertently, but not planned. Nice backdoor there.
Yeah, Chris Wright delivering the Princeton-style backdoor cut. He must have been watching the tournament.
Bayless, his first 3. So the West now up by 8. As Bayless in double digits with 10.
Team's a little more patient right now offensively, looking to work some half court.
Hickson, look at that vertical. Up with 2 hands, and J.J. Hickson makes this a 6-point game.
Timeout, East team.
Timeout on the floor. The East team wants to talk things over. Well, the NBA on ESPN continues tonight as former McDonald's All-American Tracy McGrady and the Houston Rockets take on former McDonald's All-American Elton Brand and the LA Clippers. They continue to fight for the last playoff spot in the Western Conference. NBA Wednesday on ESPN at 10 Eastern Time is also available in high definition on ESPN HD. Think about the teams playing later tonight, and how about that? You got a whole roster full of McDonald's All-Americans.
And there will be many more coming from this game into the league a couple years. Now, we've got to talk about O.J. Mayo. We talked about how he's been the dominant performer in the practices all week, and so far does not have any baskets. I am sure that he's going to try to put some numbers up before halftime.
Beasley, no. Love using that good body. Another rebound. This time it's Rose. That's what we wanted to see. We wanted to see if Love could take it to the basket, and he draws the foul.
Well, he's really a student of the game. Let's first enjoy the backdoor work. Chris Wright delivering it to Nick Calathis. So far, the East is struggling to catch up with the West.
Scott, thank you so much. We will be watching. Well, there's greatness in this building, not only on the floor, but also watching this game. Denny Crum, longtime head coach for the Louisville Cardinals. He is here and standing by with our guy Quinn.
That's right, Eric. Back in 1980, he coached a player by the name of Derek Smith. That's the father of Nolan Smith. Derek tragically died in 1996. And I wanted to ask you, when you watch Nolan play, do you see similarities to his dad?
Well, they both play real hard. Derek was a little bigger. He was young, but he came to college. He was a 16-year-old, and he every day, every practice, every pickup game, no matter what it was, he gave it 100%. And I think Nolan's got a lot of, excuse me, those same characteristics, but he's more of a true guard. Derek didn't play much guard until his junior and senior years. He played forward up till then.
Let's put that coaching whistle back on. You're watching this game. You have one selection to make. Who are you taking back to Louisville with you?
Well, just picking one is hard, but I like Love a lot. I think he's got a chance to be a really good player. He's physical, he's strong, he's a great athlete. I mean, he jumps well, and he can shoot it outside or take you inside, either one. I like Beasley, real athletic kid. In fact, a lot of these kids are very athletic. I don't see any of them out here that aren't. They're in a special group.
Thank you, Coach. Appreciate it. Eric, back to you.
Quinn, thank you so much. That last basket made by Michael Beasley, now in double digits with 11 points.
You notice Coach Crum going for the big man. That was the foundation right there. Never nervous, Purvis Ellison. Foundation of one of his national champions. And, I don't blame him. It's hard to pick out here. In this day and age, though, I think the way the game is played, more times than not, if you can't find a dominant big guy, you're looking for that queen on the chessboard, somebody who's capable of doing everything. Kevin Durant type. Take you inside, outside, who can shoot it, who can handle it.
Kevin Durant was the co-MVP of last year's game. He and Chase Budinger playing in this game. They were both fantastic a year ago out in San Diego.
Thank you for the bounce pass.
Here comes Derrick Rose, and Rose is fouled on his way to the basket. Derrick Rose will go to the free throw line and shoot two. Well, it's an exciting night of college hoops action on ESPN Thursday night. First at 7 Eastern Time, West Virginia takes on Clemson in the MasterCard NIT Championship live from Madison Square Garden. Then at 9 Eastern Time, see the State Farm College Basketball Slam Dunk and Three-Point Shooting Championship. That's Thursday night starting at 7 on ESPN.
And boy, you talk about West Virginia with putting their disappointment behind them, not making the tournament. Same thing with Clemson, who saw their year kind of collapse on them after a terrific start. But both of those teams now recognize that, it's new day, new time. This is a chance to win a championship. Only two teams are going to come away with a championship in men's basketball, and NIT is one of them. So very exciting, particularly down the stretch with the buzzer beater, Darius Nichols. Just amazing, amazing game.
I always feel like John Beilein is a masterpiece coach. He thinks the game, he teaches it so well, and that's going to be a great final in the NIT. Derrick Rose at the foul line, and a neat story. When he was 12 years old, he had three brothers that really taught him how to play in the tough and physical streets of Chicago. And the key to his game is you saw him drive to his left on the last play. He broke his right arm, and his brothers took him to the court with a cast on and said, you need to learn how to play with your left hand. Now he feels like because of that experience, he can go right and left equally well.
Well, that's a lesson for kids at home. You don't necessarily have to break your arm to do it. You can kind of wear a belt and tie it, but absolutely being able to use both hands, which is such a great advantage in this game.
Mayo misses from long distance, but gets the steal. And Mayo hangs, can't hit it. He's stuck on 2 points. Great outlet pass. Rose over to Beasley. And an offensive foul. That's what we were waiting for. We've seen the first charge in McDonald's All-Star Game history.
And you couldn't help but call that. Michael Beasley, tremendously gifted. But, again, you got to stick to the strong points of your game when you're out here. And here he kind of gets caught up in here. He made his mind up he was going to score on a floater. He's 6'10". You don't often throw floaters around. He had two guys running with him that he could have dished it off and maybe gotten it back.
Well, I think he saw Taylor King running the wing with him, and he's more of a below-the-rim type player, so his options were definitely limited.
Nah, but basketball IQ, you know that, Tim. You got to give it to the open guy. You can expect to get it back if you can't do anything with it.
So Taylor
That's what you
King
would have done.
That's what I would have done.
called for that foul, and Costa Kufos will go to the free throw line. Kufos, an interesting guy. His mom, 5'8". His dad, 6 feet. He's got a brother who's 5'8". He's 7'1".
And the skill set is really impressive. At 7'1", 260, as a kid, he played a lot of point guard, and that's the reason that his passing, dribbling, and shooting skills from the perimeter are so solid fundamentally.
Deep shot for King.
Well, I was speaking to one of the selection committee members, Howard Garfinkel, a legendary 5-star guru. And that's the one thing he mentioned, Taylor King. He said his jump shot is pure. No matter where he is on the floor, he's never far off. And you saw the range there. And talk about range, running the floor from baseline to baseline is Kevin Love.
Oh, Johnny Flynn didn't expect that.
Didn't expect it, but he was thinking about it all game. He's been distributing. Finally, he's the beneficiary.
Gordon, no. And that'll do it for our first half of play. Put an exclamation point on it, courtesy of Johnny Flynn. And both teams go to the locker room for a much-deserved rest. Michael Beasley, the leading scorer on the West, with 11 points. But it is Johnny Flynn making the headlines as we go to break. Stay tuned, everyone, for the ESPN Halftime Report after this quick break. Welcome back, everyone. It is halftime here at the 30th McDonald's Boys All-American game. And after 20 minutes of play, the West on top of the East by 11. Well, here in Louisville, everyone loves Kevin Love. The Lake Oswego, Oregon product is this year's National Player of the Year.
There are many ways to define Kevin Love: friend, teammate, student, athlete. As a basketball player, his skills began being honed before he was even on his feet.
Earliest basketball memory, I'd say, you know, shooting from my stroller or my crib, you know, just into little baskets. And I was still hitting a high percentage like I am now, but that would be definitely my earliest memory.
It's not surprising Kevin took to the game. His father, Stan Love, played 4 years in the NBA.
You know, having basketball into my blood really helped me to, you know, keep working at the game, and it has me working every day now just to get better. And, you know, my dad has been the biggest inspiration, you know, not only in basketball but also in my life, so he's just been great.
Kevin's famous bloodlines extend beyond the basketball court as well. Uncle Mike Love was one of the lead singers of the Beach Boys.
Favorite Beach Boys song? Wow. Probably, my dad wouldn't like me to say it, but definitely I'd have to say Good Vibration.
All those good vibrations had Kevin a standout before he was in high school.
The first time that I actually saw him play, he was a 7th grader, and I went to Washington in Vancouver to watch him play, and I came away thinking that I wished I had him right now because he was better than my varsity players.
Once he hit the high school hardwood, Kevin Love dominated. He won a state title. He averaged 33 points and 17 boards in his senior year. And for his career, Kevin Love broke the 50-year-old state scoring record.
You know, kids love playing with him because he's unselfish and he plays the game the way it is supposed to be played.
But don't define Kevin Love solely by his basketball. His teachers know the person is what's most impressive.
He doesn't take things for granted and doesn't have that tremendous ego sense that he certainly could have given the talents that he has. He wants to learn, he wants to understand, he wants to be better in every way. He's a very gracious, very caring human being.
Well, make no bones about it, Love is in the air tonight. Kevin Love and Michael Beasley leading the West. They both have 11 points. The West up by 11. We'll be back in the second half. Welcome back, everyone. Getting ready to get things going here in the second half. The West on top of the East by 11 after 20 minutes of play. Alongside Tim McCormick and Len Elmore, I'm Eric Collins. And, well, Tim, you predicted 12 dunks in this game. After 20 minutes, we've got 10.
I meant first half. Look, this was an up-tempo extravaganza, a lot of dunks, a lot of action. Only 15 turnovers for both teams. That's outstanding in a game like this. Also, 22 guys scored. That's a high number.
Well, I like the idea of 31 assists on 50 field goals collectively. It means guys aren't here trying to just do their thing, that they're playing within a team concept, and they enjoy playing with each other.
Well, in case anyone missed any of the first 20 minutes, let's show you what happened in highlight form.
I was really impressed with the unselfishness, delivering Johnny Flynn to his future teammate Dante Green. Also from deep, Corey Stokes showed he is a premier shooter.
Well, for the most part, guys are playing within themselves. And again, the joy of sharing the ball, we're seeing that. I think some of the passers are as pleased as the guys who ultimately are on the receiving end. And everybody can enjoy that one. The Johnny Flynn dunk that pretty much ended the first half.
Well, this may not be healthy, but Len, I know you want to see a little bit more Mayo in your life in the second half.
Well, yeah, I like Mayo. But again, O.J. Mayo is one of those guys that may not be in his element. He's used to dominating. He's used to having the ball in a game like this. We talked about Sharon. Maybe he cannot get his game going unless he's dominating the ball.
Now, we've got to go over his story. He actually started playing varsity basketball at a small Christian school in Kentucky, and as a 7th grader playing on varsity, he averaged 28 points per game.
That's hard to believe.
Take us through his path also. It is very interesting.
Yeah, O.J. Mayo, believe it or not, he's been first-team All-State 5 times in 3 different states. As an 8th grader in Kentucky, 3 years at a school in Cincinnati, and his senior year winning a state championship in Huntington, West Virginia. So he's been all over, but he's dominated all over, and he's going to take that skill set that he has out to Southern California and play for Tim Floyd next year.
Well, he certainly does have that array of skills, but I just wonder, with all the travel, all the schools, if he's lost kind of some perspective on what this game is about, this high school game of basketball.
O.J. Mayo has had an NBA body since he was a sophomore. Everywhere he goes, it's the O.J. Mayo show. But I think that the biggest thing, he's a shooting guard that's going to have to become more of a point guard.
Corey Stokes hits the long-distance 3. Villanova's got a good one in Stokes, who now has 8 points.
And Stokes, again, showing the versatility. We talked about replacing, to some extent, Curtis Sumter. Well, he's shown that he's got the skill set.
Calathes ahead of the pack, tries to go to the left hand, and he's fouled by James Harden.
And Calathes showing a little bit of that basketball IQ, feeling the defender on his back, and kind of does a little stutter step to draw the foul and still have an opportunity for the basket.
And Calathes has a very interesting summer role model. Former Gator and point guard in the NBA, Jason Williams, comes back and works with him. They spent a lot of time in Orlando, and Jason Williams sort of has a little bit of a questionable reputation. Not that he's a bad guy, but a lot of people think he's very flashy and showy. But Calathes says just the opposite. He's a very hard worker, extremely disciplined, and he counts him as his #1 role model.
James Harden fires a long jumper in and out. Cole Aldrich. And we're going to have a foul call. That's hitting the deck goes James Anderson. He will go to the free throw line. Well, let's send it over to Quint now. And Quint, you have more on the unique story of O.J. Mayo.
Yeah, speaking of O.J. yesterday, he said the trip to the Ronald McDonald House hit awful close to home. He was born to his mom, Alicia. He was born premature by 3 months. He could fit into the palm of his mom's hand. She actually outfitted him in the Cabbage Patch Doll toy clothes. He spent the first 3 months of his life in a Ronald McDonald's house. He said the visit this week put it all in perspective. We're lucky to walk the way we walk and eat what we want to eat. And he said just the whole experience was completely humbling.
Thank you, Quint.
Great story.
I know, I, for one, you don't really know what you're going to get when you meet an O.J. Mayo. You hear so much about him, but he looks you in the eye and he'll say yes, sir, and no, sir. So at least there's a conscious effort to try and make a good impression.
Yeah, and as I mentioned, the point I was mentioning about losing perspective of what high school basketball was all about was not a negative. You know, it was one of those things where maybe it was taken away from him in the long run. Hopefully, he'll have even better memories at Kansas State. I'm sorry, at USC.
J.J. Hickson hits the jumper for his 8th point. And that is where our lead is. It's a lead of 8 for the West. Jay Lucas over to Harden. Little floater, and Harden hits it. Guys, believe it or not, Harden's actually the 4th player from his high school to play in this game. The O'Bannon brothers, Ed and Charles O'Bannon, as well as Jason Capono, all played at Lakewood Artesia High School in Lakewood, California. And a two-handed flush, an easy one for Gani Lawal.
A little bit of flow right now here in the second half. Guys pushing it up the floor again. We talked about it at the end of the first half, more the second half. Guys are feeling more comfortable in game situations with each other. And that's some of the value. That's why they're as good as they are, because they can make the adjustments.
Patience shown by Harden. 2 consecutive buckets for him. Harden off to Arizona State next year.
They're actually trying to run some plays. The second half has been really impressive offensively, especially for the East team. Great delivery, keeping it up top, and I really like the big guys, both Lawal and Hickson for the East squad.
Yeah, when you're active out there, as I mentioned in the first half, you're active with these kinds of guards and their penetration skills. You just want to be ready either for distribute or get the ball off the glass.
Paul Aldrich with that 2. Oh my, great leaping ability for Lawal.
What a delivery from Calathis as well. Nick put it up really high. Back-to-back state titles in Georgia for Gani.
And Harden continues to impress the southpaw. I don't think people have figured out he's lefty yet. Good defense played by Aldrich.
And just when you talk about flow, guys start going for themselves a little bit.
That's the 2nd consecutive time that Calathis has been blocked by Aldrich. Don't think he's going to learn his lesson anytime soon.
I think Lawal hates that rim. He is dunking incredibly hard.
So Gani Lawal. His name means lots of joy. Gani does. His father from Nigeria, the native tongue, it means lots of joy. And so far, he's having a good time here in the second half.
I'll tell you who's getting lots of joy from this, Paul Hewitt at Georgia Tech. You know, the ability of Lawal to run the floor, the ability to catch and finish in the paint. Look at him slip that screen right there. You know, that's understanding the way the game is played with the read. And here, total athleticism by Gani Lawal. Again, going to fit in very nicely with the Georgia Tech attack.
Right. If you look at Thaddeus Young and Gani Lawal on the front line, Javaris Crittenton and all of their shooters on the perimeter, Paul Hewitt's team is going to be loaded next year. The big if, will both of those players come back?
Jared Bayless has checked in the game for the West, along with Kevin Love, Derrick Rose, and the man of the basketball, Michael Beasley, who has it stripped away. O.J. Mayo with the basketball in transition.
That's him right there.
Oh, would have been nice with the left hand.
But he didn't finish, but you saw the way he kind of weaved his way through the traffic.
Kevin Love once again. He was really a student of the game, and because his dad Stan played in the NBA, there was a lot of extra film sessions. Stan Love told me that when most kids were watching Big Bird at 5 years old, Kevin Love was watching Big Bird named Larry from the Boston Celtics.
And it's helped out. He is the National Player of the Year. Kevin Love heading off to UCLA next year. The West is best so far. They have a 10-point lead over the East, 84-74. 15:07 remaining. Well, it's an exciting night of college hoops action on ESPN Thursday night. First at 7 Eastern Time, West Virginia takes on Clemson in the MasterCard NIT Championship live from Madison Square Garden. Then at 9 Eastern Time, see the State Farm College Basketball Slam Dunk and Three-Point Shooting Championship. That's ESPN starting at 7. Well, Quint Kesnick is standing by with some college basketball royalty in the building. Quint.
I have the guests of all guests right here, Coach John Wooden. Coach, when you think about the great tradition of the McDonald's game, what stands out in your mind?
Well, I've been with it since it was originated, and I've enjoyed it very much. But each and every year, it seems that the players are getting bigger and better. And but I'm so impressed from the first part, but I agreed to go with them at what they really do, the money they raise to help the less fortunate. It's just tremendous, and they've raised an enormous amount of money through the years, and I think it's wonderful, and I think they treat the young people right without spoiling them, and they do a wonderful thing.
Kevin Love will attend UCLA. People have compared him to Bill Walton. What are your thoughts on Kevin Love and his skill set?
I haven't seen him play enough to make any real valid idea about him. He's very good. He has to be with the statistics that they put up. I've met him. He seems to be a very nice young man. Has his, I think, feet on the ground, in good shape. From what I've seen here, this is the first time I've seen him play in person. I'm glad he's coming to UCLA.
Coach John Wooden, thank you. 10 NCAA titles, and the pyramid of success starts right here, Eric.
Clint, thank you so much. What a special basketball man. Guys, your thoughts on Kevin Love and what we've seen so far?
Early, he's the MVP front runner. He has scored in double figures, and his team is up by 12. And I'd be curious, Len, you certainly played on some great teams at Maryland. I bet you played against UCLA. Did you? And what are your memories?
Well, of course we played against UCLA, and we lost to them by 1 in Pauley, and where it's very difficult to play. Good battle with Bill Walton. Bottom line is that, you know, you look at Coach Wooden and you see those 10 championships in his face, in the words that he speaks, and recognizing that that's a almost impossible feat to be able to accomplish, and for anybody to accomplish going forward. And in the end, it was all about the fundamentals. The teams that I played, that team that I played against, as well as other teams, so fundamentally sound. And we talk about Kevin Love, he fits in that mode, and I think Ben Howland is the kind of coach that is going to require, demand the fundamental soundness, particularly on the defensive end. And I think Kevin Love, while he's not a shot blocker on this college level, I mean, he averaged almost, actually over a little bit over 4 per game in high school. On the college level, he doesn't look like he's going to be a shot blocker, but he looks like he can be a good position defender as well. And you take a look again, we talk about the accomplishments of John Wooden as a coach, but also as an individual, one of 2 members of the Hall of Fame to go in as a player and as a coach, Lenny Wilkens being the other. And I don't think that is something also that a lot of people are going to be able to accomplish going forward.
O.J. Mayo is fouled as he goes to the basket, and he'll go to the free throw line and shoot 2.
I know one thing, that if you're being compared to Bill Walton, I hope those people rethink it, because there aren't many Bill Waltons coming along anytime soon. But Kevin Love is really a special player. He's a basketball addict. He calls himself a workhorse, and actually chose UCLA because of some comments that Phil Jackson, the Lakers coach, made. He said that Jordan Farmar came to the NBA incredibly ready to play professional basketball because Ben Howland is a great teacher of defense. Kevin Love said the biggest thing he needs to do is learn how to play both ends of the court, defense as well as offense.
And that's what I mean by position defense. As I said, a big center or even a power forward going to have to be able to come to penetration, pick up lanes, be able to help. And you have to have an understanding of what's going on the floor to be able to do that successfully.
Oh, O.J. Mayo showing why he's so special. Shakes Eric Gordon, drops him to the floor, and then raises on a 3. Michael Beasley continues to be beastly.
Well, I tell you what, Michael Beasley, regardless of the numbers, is one of the most impressive guys on the floor right now. You look at him step out there, the quickness of foot, his ability, obviously, to finish.
Good steal by Freeman, and the alley-oop converted by Lawal. No, that's Dante Green.
Hey, you're getting used to saying Gani Lawal with another dunk. Those two have attacked the rim. But I agree with you. If you look at Beasley, he is such a freak offensively with his athleticism. He runs the court. He's going to be special.
Johnny Flynn, pull up from the jump from the elbow. Here is Beasley, and has his pass knocked away by Dante Green.
Time is out on the court.
Timeout on the floor. Just moments ago, you saw the East trying to make it happen. The lob to Dante Green, and the lead's been cut down to 9. We are in Freedom Hall in Louisville, Kentucky, in the West on top of the East, 94-85, 11:37 remaining. Let's send it over to Quinn.
Eric, I've got Timberland. He provided the halftime entertainment. You got quite a reception from the McDonald's All-American girls team. Describe what happened out there.
We had fun. They realized Ricky Bobby was in the building. Better known as Timberland, as me. We had fun. We had a great time. Trying to get the crowd into it. They looked at me, they wasn't getting into it. They said, wait a minute, what's really going on? It's a basketball game or just a party. It's both.
You're a big fan of the Miami Heat, Dwayne Wade.
Yeah.
You see any future Dwayne Wades out here?
Number 30. I don't know who his name is on the right of the Ronald McDonald team. Number 30. He's pretty tough.
Your new album comes out Tuesday, April 3rd. It's called Shock Value. What do you got in store for fans?
Shock Value, April 3rd. What I got in store for us is a variety. I got rock, hip-hop, slow songs, and R&B songs. Some of everything. A lot of groups like Elton John, The Hives, She Wants Revenge, The Fall Out Boys, Dr. Dre, 50 Cent, a remix with Jay-Z, some of everything.
Timberland, talent attracts talent, Eric.
Thank you so much, Quinn.
Tell you what, Timberland had a good eye for basketball. We're just discussing Michael Beasley, number 30, over there. Being a very impressive guy on this floor, very impressive players.
Well, maybe he liked Gani Lualdo if he said 30.
But he pointed over there to the red. I was watching.
Ball stolen away. And now, here comes Nolan Smith. Get out of Oak Hill. Little floater up and in. He's heading off to play for the Duke Blue Devils next year.
Yeah, and Nolan said that this would be an emotional game for him. His late father was a star for the Cardinals, and he said he has watched a lot of tape of his dad and patterns his game after him.
His dad was a national champion with that 1980 team, and, with Duke, he may get that chance at some point.
Time now for a Sports Center 30 and 30 update. Let's check in with Fred Hickman.
That's us.
Fred, thank you so much. Well, Fred was just talking about Chris Bosh. He played in this game just a couple of years ago. It doesn't take much to go from this game to the big leagues and play in the NBA.
Well, right now, it's going to take a bit of time for a lot of these guys, as tremendously skilled as they are. My belief is that the longer you stay in school, the better you're going to get.
You have a law background. What are your thoughts on the 19 rule that has these kids going to college for a year? Are you in favor of that?
Oh, absolutely. Like I just said, you're not going to get better anyplace else but in college. And so many of these guys have tremendous skills that certainly will translate. But in the end, I think if you look at Durant, you look at Oden, and some of the other kids that people mentioned as maybe being able to leave after high school, they have benefited tremendously from their experience in college. Not just college basketball, but in college. And it does my heart well to hear that Kevin Durant's got a 3.0 and is still going to class. That Greg Oden loves to be on campus and in class at Ohio State.
East All-Stars get it to Calathis. Comes up a little bit short. Rebound Singler. We are here in the Bluegrass State for the 30th running of the McDonald's All-American game. We're here at Freedom Hall with Tim McCormick, Glenn Elmore, and Quinn Kesnick. I'm Eric Collins, and so far so good for the West All-Stars. They have a lead of 98-89, even though the East is leading in the dunk department with a large margin. How do you explain it, guys?
I tell you, the East is also leading, or at least they were leading, in the assist category as well. But in the end, it comes down to probably just three-point shooting and turnovers.
Patrick Patterson with 2. Patterson was the teammate his senior year in Huntington, Virginia, or West Virginia, with O.J. Mayo.
Didn't necessarily say defense, because we're getting defense in spurts right now. They haven't really been able to put a bunch of defensive possessions together, neither team.
Taylor King missed the first, hits the second.
Yeah, Taylor King, an interesting story. In 9th grade, Ben Howland took the job at UCLA and offered Taylor a scholarship. He took it. Later, he changed his mind, wanted to be recruited, and changed his mind and went to Duke.
You think that's a good decision, guys? Do you think Taylor King can do something down there for Mike Krzyzewski?
I think he's a very good fit, but it's going to be important for him to continue to work on his body. Right now, he's a spot-up shooter, but the thing he said is that he averaged 12 rebounds per game, and let's look at the fine work underneath of Nick Kalathis, who is just a phenomenal shooter.
That's good hustle right there. And again, the effort that some of these guys are showing, some are showing a little more effort than others. I mean, we talked about a couple of guys running the floor, Lawal particularly, you know, Beasley running up and down the floor, Kalathis obviously with his hustle. You know, that sometimes is the difference between showing well, at least statistically in these games, and not showing well. You know, there are a lot of little things that you can do that aren't being done by the majority of the guys on the floor, and those are usually the guys that stand out. And first and foremost is running the floor.
You just saw Kalathis, and I had a chance to watch him play a lot 2 summers ago, and I thought that he was the classic driveway shooter, but his game is so much more the ability to pass and create, like that.
Tried to get it to Smith, and the layup is missed, but Smith gets it back and is fouled. Nolan Smith will go to the free throw line and shoot a pair. Well, we're under the 8-minute mark, and don't look now, but the West, they've already broken the century mark. It's a 101-94 lead. Fred, thank you so much. We saw how those Clippers there just chock full of former McDonald's All-Americans. Elton Brand, Corey Maggette, Sean Livingston. And, well, this is just some of the great names that have played in the first 30 years of this event. Irvin Johnson, the very first McDonald's All-American team. Michael Jordan, Shaquille, Kobe, LeBron just a couple of years ago.
What about Patrick Ewing and Isaiah and Carmelo and Nick? You can go on and on and on, and someday you may put Kevin Durant and Greg Oden on that list.
Well, strangely absent. A lot of people talk about the class of '79 and the seniors in that class: Ralph Sampson, Dominique Wilkins, Isaiah Thomas, James Worthy. I mean, those last three are Hall of Famers, and strangely absent from that all 30th anniversary team.
We wanted to make that a verbal. More emphasis. Kyle Singler with the basketball, gets it over to Bayless, and Bayless is whacked hard by J.J. Hickson, and Bayless will shoot a pair.
Yeah, I thought that Jared Bayless was the most impressive dunker in the dunk contest. He did everything except make his dunks. I mean, he actually was 2, maybe 3 inches from hitting his head on the rim. So when you're talking about athleticism and explosion, 6'3", a guard can score. Maybe more of a shooting guard and has to become more of a true point guard. He really fits the mold of Mike Bibby, who's also from Phoenix. I don't think that Mike Bibby can hit his head on the rim, though.
No, I don't think he ever could.
Not that should be your goal.
I was going to say, with Mike Bibby, doesn't matter. He's still an explosive scorer.
Mike Bibby, another former McDonald's All-American.
I think going to Arizona, what Bayless has to bring, besides his considerable offensive skills, got to bring a little defense. You know, I think that's the one thing that was lacking in a team that could put points on the board. They needed some lockdown defenders, which they did not have this year.
Keep an eye on O.J. Mayo. I had a chance to broadcast his game against St. Patrick's earlier this year. He had 33 shots up in 32 minutes, and he scored 48 points. So it's a guy that can put a lot of points on the board in a hurry. He desperately wants to score.
Well, right there, Bayless did a nice job defensively. So here in the queue, forced Mayo to give it up, but the result still the same, a basket.
J.J. Hickson from Marietta, Georgia. Same high school as Sharif Abdul-Rahim. Ball poked out of bounds. It'll stay with the West. Hickson's actually going to go play for a former McDonald's All-American back in 1978. Someone by the name of Sidney Lowe came out at DeMassa as a McDonald's All-American.
And his coach?
His coach at North Carolina State was Morgan Wooten. He's in the building.
He's been around some McDonald's guys. It looks like Taylor King may have caught a bow, sitting on the bench getting a little treatment.
Inside, good left hand up and in. Michael Beasley, another 2.
Well, we have to revisit our MVP candidate. We had said that Kevin Love was off to a good start, but Michael Beasley has been dominant attacking this rim. Some people think Love is the best player in the class. We hear maybe Eric Gordon. Kyle Singler has had some love. O.J. Mayo, but a lot of other people say it's Michael Beasley.
Well, I'll tell you, Beasley's the most impressive guy out here. I said it before, and I'll say it again. He's shown the versatility, step inside, outside, shown athleticism, shown the ability and the desire to be able to distribute the ball as well.
Beasley's role model as a kid was Dermar Johnson, who went on to star for Bobby Huggins at Cincinnati. He was the #1 high school player in the country, and Beasley was just a little kid that idolized him. And he remembers that he talked about how great a coach Bobby Huggins was. He decided as a very young kid that if he developed his game, one day he wanted to play for Huggy Bear.
And he's going to do that out in Manhattan, Kansas. I think Bob Huggins is going to get a player and a half. He can really run the floor. He can strap it down defensively.
Oh, but they're going to bump heads because Bobby Huggins is not going to accept the fact that some days Michael Beasley looks like an NBA All-Star, and other days he just doesn't bring the effort. That's the one area he has to improve.
J.J. Hickson, another bucket last time down.
Got a ball game here, guys.
3-point game coming up on the 6-minute mark. There's the man we're talking about, Beasley. And he has his pocket picked by O.J. Mayo. 4 on 2. And Freeman finishes at the rim.
And that tells me that O.J. Mayo wants to win this ball game. He had a chance to take a guy one-on-one, instead unselfish enough to get the basket. So don't think this is all fun and games out here for these guys. Every one of these guys is a competitor. And that just showed me he wants to win.
Eric Gordon answers on the other end. Mayo. And Gani Lawal will go to the free throw line.
And this is the point right here. The coaches are scripted on how many minutes and what lineups they have to play. But under 6 minutes, they can go with their horses. The guys that they think can win the ball game are going to finish this thing out.
Lawal's first free throw. A little bit short. 12 points, 11 rebounds. And the pride of Norcross, Georgia.
6'9", 230 pounds, and he went to Georgia Tech, home state school, ACC. He can play from day one.
So the lead remains at 3 for the West. In the backcourt, it's Eric Gordon with the basketball, working with Derrick Rose by his side.
For all the people out there watching, I want you to enjoy this last couple minutes, because I'm going to tell you right now, I've watched all these guys play a great deal. All 10 of these guys are going to one day be NBA players.
Ball out of bounds, it'll stay with the West. The East, I apologize.
East, number 33, Nick Kalakas. He replaces number 30, Gani Lawal.
There's the head coach for the West, Derek Taylor. He is from Taft High School out in Woodland Hills, California. A couple of years ago, he coached a McDonald's All-American and Jordan Farmar. Now at the Los Angeles Lakers. Bayless has his shot snuffed out. Patterson gets it up to Kalathis.
Wow. What a delivery by Kalathis.
You see that Jason Williams.
Oh, Beasley coming back the other way.
Kalathis with the Jason Williams effect, and obviously Beasley just playing like a man. Again, teams are starting to feel it now. You see a little bit of chest bumping, heart thumping. Bragging rights on the line.
Tough shot. Mayo is fouled, hit on the wrist. He'll go to the free throw line.
Foul is on Derrick Rose, number 25. This person, team 7.
Again, we talk about Jason Williams and that effect. You know, that's not really flash for flash's sake. He drew the defender with that fake, and here comes Beasley again. That's an effort play right there.
O.J. Mayo at the line, and had a nice conversation before the shoot-around saying he said he really wants to be a student of the game. He watches ESPN Classic all the time, and the guy that he envisions himself wants to try to pattern his game after is Earl the Pearl Monroe. He said he was very stylish, but he did it within the concept of his game, didn't try to force things, and really pointed to the key in his development. Right now, he knows he's a scorer. If he's going to be a point guard in the NBA, he must become more of a setup man.
Well, quite honestly, if he's going to be a lead guard in college basketball, he's going to have to learn how to distribute the ball and still have that maximum impact. And right now, you can tell he's a young man that wants it. But when you measure him right now in this game as a snapshot, you measure him against all these other players out there, as skillful as he is, there's not a lot of difference between him and maybe 10, 12 other guys out here.
Strong block. Patrick Patterson denies Love inside. And the ball is going to stay with the West. But a timeout on the floor. 3:58 remaining. Love not feeling it. Patrick Patterson sends him back home with no lunch. Thank you so much. We're here in Louisville where things are getting tight. The West on top of the East by 2. Well, Dante Green says he wants to go to Syracuse and be a communications major. Well, we gave him a camera earlier this week to see what the week looked like through his lens.
Dante Green here. I'm going to be here for a while. Be here all day. Leg. TK. I don't know how it's going to be on here, but you're going to see a lot of wild stuff. We just got done practice. I'm sweaty. I'm tired. It's a long day. That's a lot of signing. Yeah, man. Just finished signing about 500 cards and papers.
My boy K Love in the house. We here, K.
Felt strong, had a good time, chilled out. Everybody did all right.
Now Dante Green has a future as the world's largest cameraman.
Oh, gee, just what we need, another Syracuse guy in communications, right?
I wonder if Mike Tirico's sweating it right now. Jump shot up and in. Eric Gordon.
Last year with Odin, Durant, Thaddeus Young, Brandon Wright, all the big guys, it was a 6'10" and above class, but this is the class that is really earmarked with 1s, 2s, and 3s. Who's really stepped out in the guard category to you guys?
Fantastic pass, Calathis, and Dante Green is fouled inside.
Well, Calathis right there has made a tremendous impact on his ability to find people in a crowd. We've seen more than once now, no-look passes, passes around defenders, passes through defenders. A real good eye for setting up, and doesn't mind drawing 1 or 2 defenders, sometimes 3 defenders to him in order to deliver the ball on the money to his teammate. Yeah. And Nick Calathis, I tell you, he's going to be a tremendous point guard if he decides to play that.
There's Dante Green at the free throw line. He and Johnny Flynn, you just saw on that graphic, they're going to be the first 2 McDonald's All-American teammates to matriculate to Syracuse at the same time since Derek Coleman and Stephen Thompson did it back in 1986.
He's got a nice handle, too, for a big... never mind.
Mayo with a poke from behind.
He's got a handle. He just didn't have eyes behind his head, and nobody communicated to him.
Well, when we talk about the ball handlers and the point guards here, I particularly am really impressed with Derrick Rose. I think he's the best pure point guard in the class of '07. I know that Bayless and Gordon Mayo are tremendous, but I still think that they're shooting guards that are becoming slowly the true point guards.
Flynn, oh man, he can get up in the air, and he is fouled, and he'll go to the free throw line.
Well, to me, the measure of a guy who is going to make guys better is that willingness to draw defenders to you. In other words, make it easier on your teammate to do it. You know, as opposed to the guy who thinks pass as a last option when he can't get his. You know, and you got to watch carefully and closely at guys to see the difference.
Yeah. We talked a little bit about the Orange connection with Johnny Flynn. He was telling me that his dad is a huge Cuse fan, has all the Orange gear at home, and they used to always watch the games together. The favorite player of Johnny Flynn all time from Syracuse, Sherman Douglas.
Oh, why not? Spring Iron High School, jump shot up and in. Derrick Rose taking over now.
And that was a true point guard. Sherm had that ability to draw people, to be able to set up his big guys, be able to reach around and create opportunities that weren't there for his teammates.
Pretty nice big guys to work with, Ronnie Cycling and Derek Coleman. Shot missed by Mayo.
I bet they're buying him lunch every once in a while.
Singler.
You would all see Mike Dunleavy as you watch Singler. Very young physically, will get a lot stronger down the road.
Oh, that's what we heard about Kevin Love, is the strength of his hands. Grabbed the rebound, thought he had it all to himself, but they're going to say it's a tie-up, and the ball stays with the East.
You're going to take a look right here, getting good position.
I love that story about how his uncle is Michael Love, the singer for the Beach Boys. And he actually told me, I said, do you have any Beach Boys on your iPod? And he said, only Good Vibrations and Help Me Rhonda. But that's not real cool for a high school kid to have the Beach Boys on the iPod, is it?
He is if he's your uncle. Turnover, ball goes back over to the West. Derrick Rose with the basketball, his club up by 5. And Rose slips at center court. Missed opportunity.
And I really think, Eric, they need to stop play right now and wipe up the wet spot, because that decal, which is huge, once it gets wet, it does get slippery. You don't want to see guys out here, you know, injuring themselves.
That's the biggest sticker I've ever seen.
Gordon loses it out of bounds after making a nice move to split the double team.
Well, is it too early to call Michael Beasley the MVP of this game? Because he has been by far the most outstanding player in my eyes.
Yeah, he's been most impressive, no question about it. And as I said, regardless of what the stats were, without looking at him, but so far he's put up the numbers as well as been impressive in total floor game.
Mayo saves it over to Calathis. That's normally money. And now, guys, do we bleed some shot clock here if you're the West?
Spread offense, work the clock.
Can you convince the coach? Although you see Rose putting a number up. And if it was more than 3 or 4 to develop 5 plays for an all-star game, that's a lot.
And a steal by Patterson. Opportunity for O.J. Mayo in the East.
So we got to think basketball. A quick 2 would work if you're not going to hit the 3, but obviously Flynn proves me wrong.
Johnny Flynn makes it a 2-point game. 59 ticks remaining. Well, with the timeout on the floor, let's use this time to see some of the highlights of tonight's game.
Well, I'll tell you what, the thing you can take from this game, obviously, is the tremendous athleticism of these guys out on the floor. I'm sure they've been playing with each other, but very unselfish.
And also, we've had 21 dunks in this game. Not afraid to use the athleticism. Johnny Flynn attacking the rim. And I always remember in all-star games how many missed dunks on alley-oops. That has not been the case in these contests.
Well, I can't say that I remember the same thing, because we weren't allowed to dunk back in the day. It was just catch it in the air and drop it over the rim. That's why
you didn't want to break the peach basket.
No, they didn't have the breakaways. You can thank guys like Daryl Dawkins and others for the breakaways.
All right, the West up by 2. Trying to hold on. Eric Gordon with the basketball. Misses the shot. Here comes Mayo. Open look for the lead.
Hey, guys, it's a 2-point game. Why are we taking 3s? What do we talk about in the huddle?
Calathis sticks his nose in there, gets the jump ball, but it'll stay with the West. And a timeout on the floor. The West, they want to talk things over and make sure that everyone's on the same page.
As we watched LeBron in transition on that last play, the one thing that I remember about, we were watching O.J., I remember watching LeBron during his game and how unselfish he was, and really that's been the foundation of LeBron James's game. That's really the next step for O.J. Mayo, and I think that Tim Floyd is going to help bring that out. Eric, you had a neat story that you were sharing with us earlier today about, you know, the fact that this is a kid that keeps working on his game, he keeps grinding, and he really wants to get better.
Yeah, O.J. Mayo is one of those special guys. I had a chance to meet him, and you don't know what you're going to get, but you hear so many different stories. But he generally had an interest in at least making people like him. He's got the handshake that's firm. He looks you in the eye, and it's very impressive when you're dealing with a 17 and 18-year-old.
Well, when you read the articles and his quotes about why he chose USC, one of them had to do with marketing. Los Angeles being, the #2 market, maybe even #1 market. And he certainly recognizes public relations, no question about it. And he seems to be a tremendous young man. Bottom line is he's got to be with the right people and do the right thing continually.
The second most famous OJ to ever go to USC.
Oventon J. Anthony Mayo. All right, Eric Gordon with the basketball. His team up by a deuce. Shot clock down to 7. And Bayless nowhere to go. Throws it away. Chance to tie or take the lead. Mayo! Calabas has got to get it up. And that'll do it. Oh, what a fantastic way to end the 30th McDonald's All-American game. The West, they hang on and win. Michael Beasley, Kevin Love in the West had a big lead, and they just barely hold on to win. 114-112 our final score. Congratulations to everyone involved in this one. It was a well-played game, and sure hope you enjoyed it as much as we did. This is how close the East came to pulling it out.
And O.J. Mayo had a beautiful look, but his jump shot has not been on. Calabas with the offensive rebound tries to finish.
Yeah, my problem was he had a wide open lane to the basket with 5 seconds left. He dribbled down, user athleticism, and flush. And we'd be in overtime.
So, congratulations to the West. They win 114-112. Your final score here from Freedom Hall. Coming up next on ESPN.